He did not come from money. He came from a small island called Madeira, off the coast of Portugal, where his father worked as a kitman and groundskeeper for a local football club, and his family of 6 shared a house so small the roof leaked when it rained. He shared a bedroom with 3 siblings. There was no extra. There was no margin. There was nothing about where he started that suggested where he was going. Today, Cristiano Ronaldo is worth $1.4 billion. He earned $300 million in the last 12 months alone, the highest single-year earnings ever recorded for any athlete in the history of Forbes. But here is what almost nobody in the mainstream conversation ever talks about. Most of that $1.4 billion, the hotels, the clinics, the film studio, the AI investment, the YouTube empire, the brand valued at 850 million euros, has almost nothing to do with kicking a football. The sport was never the business. The sport was the platform, and the platform was always just the beginning. Welcome to Sovereign Wealth. On this channel, we study the financially sovereign, the people and institutions who built wealth that compounds, that generates income without requiring their presence, that outlasts the original source of income indefinitely. Cristiano Ronaldo is the most complete example of that story in the history of professional sport. Not because of the trophies. Trophies do not compound. Not because of the goals. Goals stop when the career ends. But because of the decisions he made in parallel to the career, the business moves, the equity stakes, the brand positions, the investments, all of it built while he was still the best player on earth, so that when football eventually ends, the empire does not. Today, the complete breakdown of how Cristiano Ronaldo built $1.4 billion. Every business, every wealth lesson. The story the headlines never tell. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born February 5, 1985, in Funchal, Madeira. His father, Jose, worked as a kitman and occasional groundskeeper. His mother, Maria Dolores, cleaned houses and cooked for other families to support 4 children. The family lived with precision, every expense measured, nothing wasted, not because they chose frugality as a philosophy, because the margin did not exist. At 10, he joined Andorinha, his father's local club. The talent was immediate and undeniable. At 12, he moved to Nacional. At 14, after a heart surgery to correct an irregular heartbeat that could have ended everything before it began, he received an offer from Sporting CP in Lisbon, 500 miles away. He would leave. He would call his mother by phone. He was 14 years old when he got on the transport to Lisbon, leaving the only home he had ever known, for a city he had never visited, for a future he could not yet see. That decision, at 14, before any fame, before any leverage, before any evidence that it would work out, is the foundational moment of every financial lesson in this story. The willingness to leave comfort behind for possibility. He has been making that same decision in different forms every year since in 2003. Sir Alex Ferguson signed Ronaldo for Manchester United at 18 years old for £12 million. He won 3 Premier League titles, a Champions League, the Ballon d'Or. He became the most marketable player on earth. But the sovereign wealth observation about the Manchester United years is not the trophies. It is what was happening beneath the surface. He was being paid extremely well. He was becoming globally famous. He was not yet building an empire. He watched how David Beckham, who had left United the year Ronaldo arrived, had built a personal brand that operated completely independently of his playing career. He watched how a single name and face, attached to the right products and the right equity positions, could generate commercial value that dwarfed any football salary. The platform was being constructed. The business discipline was being formed. Most athletes wait until the career ends to think about what comes next. Ronaldo started thinking about it at 18. That is the first lesson, and he never stopped learning it. In 2009, Real Madrid signed Ronaldo for €94 million, a world record at the time. But the transfer fee is not the interesting financial story of those years. The interesting story is what he built in parallel to the greatest football of his career. The CR7 brand had already launched in 2006 before the Real Madrid move. Fragrance first, then underwear, then apparel. Not because these were passion projects, because he understood that his face and name were generating commercial value for companies paying him endorsement fees, and that the same value would produce far more if he owned the business rather than appearing in the advertisement for it. At Real Madrid, the empire expanded systematically. In 2014, he co-founded Pestana CR7 Hotels with the Portuguese Pestana Group, a 50-50 partnership, 6 locations globally today, a flagship in Riyadh, opening in 2026, combined annual revenue estimated at $200 million. Nike signed him to a lifetime deal worth over $1 billion, one of only 3 athletes in the history of the company alongside Michael Jordan and LeBron James. He was not waiting for the playing career to wind down before starting the next chapter. Hotels, brand deals, equity positions, all of it launched and compounding while he was still scoring 40 or 50 goals a season and winning Ballon d'Ors. Build while you still have the platform. That is the lesson. He never stopped applying it. On July 10, 2018, Juventus announced the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo. The following morning, their stock rose 31% in a single trading session. The transfer fee Juventus paid, €117 million. The market cap gain from that single announcement, €550 million. More value created in one day on the Italian stock exchange than the entire transfer cost. The financial press covered the transfer fee. They did not cover the stock movement, but the stock movement is the sovereign wealth story, the moment where the market made explicit what had been building for years. Ronaldo was not just an athlete, he was a brand, and a brand of sufficient power can move not just commercial revenue, but public market valuations. And then in June 2021, at Euro 2020, he sat down at a press conference, looked at the 2 Coca-Cola bottles placed in front of him by tournament sponsors, picked them up, moved them off the table, and held up a bottle of water instead. Agua, water. That afternoon, Coca-Cola's market capitalization dropped by $4 billion. He did not issue a press release. He did not run a campaign. He moved 2 bottles and said one word, and one of the most valuable consumer brands on earth lost $4 billion before the market closed. This is what it looks like when a human being has become an asset class, not a player, not a spokesperson, an economic force operating at a scale that has no historical precedent in professional sport. Let us go through every pillar of what he has actually built, because most people, even dedicated Ronaldo followers, do not know the full picture. Inspiria, 12+ hair transplant clinics across Spain, Portugal, Italy, and the Middle East. Founded 2019. High-ticket procedures, high margins. Operates on its own revenue model whether he is on a pitch or not. He is not a brand ambassador for Inspiria. He is a co-founder and owner. UD Almeria, 25% ownership stake in a Spanish professional football club. Through CR7 Sports Investments, he has moved from the playing side of the table to the ownership side, from labor to capital, from salary to equity. Perplexity AI, investor in one of the fastest-growing artificial intelligence companies on Earth, backed by Jeff Bezos, building a direct answer engine competing with Google Search. He identified the AI wave and took an equity position before most athletes in any sport had heard the company's name. You are Cristiano YouTube, 78 million plus subscribers, launched late 2024, fastest channel in the history of YouTube to reach 50 million subscribers. A direct-to-fan media platform that allows him to promote every CR7 business to 78 million people without paying a single dollar in media fees to anyone. UR.Marv Film Studio, co-founded with Hollywood director Matthew Vaughn, the filmmaker behind Kingsman and Kick-Ass. He does not license his story to someone else's studio and collect a flat fee. He owns the studio that will tell the story and retain the intellectual property. Social media empire, 670 million Instagram followers, the most followed individual human account on Earth, between $2.5 and $3.5 million per sponsored post, $300 million in 2026, divided by 365 days, $822,000 every single day, tax-free in Saudi Arabia. In January 2023, Ronaldo signed for Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League. The global media reaction was almost uniformly dismissive. He had gone to cash out, to retire in the desert, to close a career that could not go anywhere more prestigious. They missed the point entirely. His total package, salary, image rights, and ambassador fees for Saudi Vision 2030 is estimated at over $235 million per year. Tax-free, because Saudi Arabia does not tax personal income. Saudi Arabia is spending trillions transforming its global profile through sport, entertainment, and investment. Vision 2030, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's National Transformation Program, is an attempt to diversify the Saudi economy away from oil before the oil runs out. Ronaldo is not simply a footballer in that context. He is a geopolitical asset, a tourism campaign, the anchor signing for an entire nation's rebrand. Every Instagram post he makes in Riyadh reaches 670 million people and promotes Saudi Arabia to an audience no government advertising budget on Earth could buy. The kingdom is paying for it accordingly. He did not go to Saudi Arabia because his career was over. He went because no athlete in history had ever been offered what he was offered, and because the world's fastest-growing sovereign wealth economy wanted his name, his face, and his brand at the center of its national transformation. That is not a retirement. That is a strategic move. Football made him famous. Fame gave him leverage. Leverage built CR7. The brand built the hotels. The hotels funded the clinics. The clinics led to perplexity. And all of it, every pillar of the empire, continues generating revenue on a Tuesday afternoon when no game is being played and no ball is being kicked. Whatever you do exceptionally well, that is your platform. The question this story asks every person watching is, what are you building on top of it? Gold Card 2. Build while you still have the platform. The Pastana CR7. Hotels launched in 2014. He was still at peak Real Madrid. The Nike lifetime deal came at the height of his playing powers. The YouTube channel launched at 39, while he was still scoring professional goals. He never once waited for the career to slow down before starting the next chapter. The platform is most powerful while it is still at full power. Build then, not after. Gold Card 3. Own the asset, Do not just promote it. He did not endorse a hair clinic. He co-founded Inspiria and owns equity in it. He did not endorse a YouTube channel. He built Cristiano and owns every dollar it generates. He did not endorse a film studio. He co-founded Marv. The spokesperson gets a fee that ends when the contract ends. The owner gets a percentage indefinitely. That is the difference between a well-paid athlete and a billionaire. Gold card 4. Your audience is an asset class. 670 million Instagram followers, 78 million YouTube subscribers, built with 30 years of showing up at a level most people will never reach and sharing that journey with everyone who wanted to watch. That is not a fan base. That is a distribution network worth billions. Treat your audience, however large or small, like the asset class it is. A leaking roof in Madeira, a shared bedroom, a father who was a kit man, $1.4 billion. Not because circumstances were favorable, because the decision to leave comfort behind at 14, to sacrifice, to build, to own, to think in decades rather than seasons, never stopped being made. Sovereign wealth is not inherited, it is built, one decision at a time, by people who decided that the origin of their story did not have the right to determine its destination. Cristiano Ronaldo will retire from professional football as the highest-earning athlete in the recorded history of professional sport. And the morning after he retires, the hotels will still be full. The clinics will still have patients booked 6 months in advance. The YouTube channel will still be growing. The film studio will still be in production. The Perplexity AI investment will still be compounding. The Instagram account will still be the most followed individual human account on Earth. $1.4 billion, almost none of it from kicking a ball, all of it from one principle he understood before he was 20 years old. The sport is the platform. The empire is the point. If sovereign wealth gave you something real today, subscribe. Share this with one person who is building something. Drop a comment. Which of the 5 wealth lessons hit you hardest, and what are you going to do with it this week? One sentence. I read every single one. Subscribe now. The seal word for this video unlocks your hidden gift. Go to sovereignwealthtv.com right now. Enter the seal word. Claim your gift. New word drops with every video. Miss the video, miss the gift.